Hello, everyone. You are listening to Those Other Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
I'm Victoria.
And it is 2022, and we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Woo. This is our first Teacap of the new year. This is good. We have not talked in 5 ever. So we spent the first 2 hours of us supposed to be recording, catching up. But it's good to be back.
It's good to be back. It feels like we're back home, back trying to get in the swing of things. This first work week was a struggle bus. I'm just saying. I could not get into a groove at all.
Yeah.
And I forgot, I hate setting an alarm. I miss alarm-free living.
See, I still did alarm. Well, I guess I didn't really do an alarm. No, I guess I didn't. I'm just so used to having an alarm, though. I think my alarm did go off. I just ignored it.
Well, I have part of my New Year's resolutions. Okay, I want to get up and work out before work. And then happens.
Oh. I can text you when I get up. My alarm goes off at 5:15. I can text you.
You've lost your mind.
So here's the thing. My goal is to be at the gym. That's 5 minutes away at 6. So why does your alarm go off at 5:15, Valerie? Because I push it so much by the time I'm done pressing it and I'm awake, it's 6:30. So I'm you know what? Let me just go ahead and I used to do it at 5:30 and then I pushed it back to 5:15. And because I pushed it back to 5:15, I do get to the gym around 6 now. It's literally 5 minutes away. I could probably walk there if I needed to. But I press snooze. It goes off at 5:15. I press snooze probably till 5:46 because I'm just so trying to wake up.
I just not I get all my energy I get all my energy at night. I'm not a morning person. I don't.
I'm the exact opposite.
I literally don't function until 7 o'clock. I feel
By
the time the workday's over, I'm all right, I'm awake now.
No, by 3 o'clock, especially if it's a busy day, by 3 o'clock, I'm ooh, I guess I'm about to get another coffee because I'm dozing off.
Well, see, I'm completely opposite. I'm tired, and then 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm all right, I need a nap, and then
I would love to take a nap.
I know, I need a nap, but then by the time 6, 7 o'clock comes around, I'm all right, I'm good. 2, 3 o'clock, I'm all right, I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. I'm gonna get a good night's rest. And then by time 7, 8, I'm all right, let's get stuff done.
Yeah, that's not me at all. And if I had it my way, I'd be in. So I have the little thing on my phone where to stop, it'll do the do not disturb.
I've noticed that when I text you at night, it says Mallory has do not disturb on. Is this important that you need to let it through? I'm
oh, it says that? Oh, I didn't know it said all that. Wow. Well, 9:15 is when it comes on because technically if I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep, I have to go to bed at 9:15. Now, how often does that happen? Not often. So I really need to be on top of it because I think that's why I'm because I feel if I was actually going to bed at 9:15, by the time 5:15 came around, I wouldn't be pushing snooze so much. The problem is Mondays, sometimes I have GOP meetings. Tuesdays is Bible study. Wednesday, I have Republican something or another meetings. Thursday, I might have something with pro-life. So I'm always busy. So I'll go to work. I get off at 5. I get back to Charlotte around 6. And then all the meetings are either at 6 or 7. By the time I get home, it's 9. So literally it's get home, put on my pajamas, and then sometimes I want to watch a show, a 30-minute show, which I started, Emily in Paris. Have you seen that?
No, but my dad watched it.
Really? That's hilarious.
I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm watching Emily in Paris. I go, excuse me? He goes, I watch it because I like all the food talk.
That's funny. I've only seen 2 episodes because, like I said, I have time. And I started it this week, and it's not bad. Our good friends at the Morning Toast. I say good friends like I know them.
I feel like I do.
I feel like I do too, which is not like I heard a talk or like someone did like a YouTube video about that. It's called like parasocial relationships. Not good. You should never feel like you are friends with influencers and celebrities because they are not your friends. But I do for like 98% of the ones I follow.
Well, like them and like the Bobby Bone show, I'm like, okay, like I feel like they're my friends. But isn't that like the whole like the mark of a good podcast where like
it is
because we want you guys to feel like you're we're y'all's friends, you're friends of us, and like working on like so I think that's how you build a community, really, right?
It is like from the like influencer standpoint, but from your mental health standpoint, it's not. Like from a community standpoint. So like but also too, I'll say the difference between us and everybody that listens to us, for the most part, people who listen to us, you're going to meet us in real life, I'm pretty sure, like because our paths are going to cross. Not saying that I don't go to fancy restaurants in New York with celebrities, but I don't ever see myself being in the same party that Claudia would be at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you and Jackie might be in the same bookstore, but like
I guess is it like more of the concept is like, okay, like there's a difference between like feeling like they're your friends and like thinking like they're your friends. Like is that what they're meaning? Because like I guess like I feel like they've created such a good community that I feel like
it feels like your friend.
It feels like a friendship, but I mean I know it's not.
Well, they're right. I think their thing is like, for example, like let's say we listen to Mary Sue and Yvette on a podcast and we feel like we're their family, but let's say Mary Sue gets a divorce, and because like if Mary Sue was your actual friend, you would be like, hey, you gotta tell me what's going on, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. But like if they're just people you podcast, like you literally have no right to know what's going on, what they don't tell you. But because you feel like you're a part of this family, in your brain you're like, she has to tell me, like why is she not telling me?
Oh well, I mean I want them to know, but then I'm also like, okay, like it's your personal life, like I get it,
right?
You don't wanna,
right.
like,
most of us can like separate that, but a lot of people can't. Anyway, our friends do not like Emily in Paris, but everybody else.
She doesn't like season 2. That
I thought she didn't like season 1.
I don't know. I skip over the TV recaps usually.
Oh,
I do watch
too.
It because
unless I watch it
because I don't want spoilers. So I don't know if you get like because she did a recap on Emily in Paris.
All she said was it was crap.
Well, they did like well, I know they did like one at the very end, and I know she's like complaining about it at the beginning. Yeah,
maybe if it's after the Real Housewives stuff, which I could not care less about. I just all right, the episode's over.
I don't know why I don't know anyone that watches that, and I don't know. I'm surprised.
Caroline does. Our friend Caroline, yeah. Shout out to Caroline.
Well,
the baby.
I used to listen to the TV recaps because it's like, okay, well, they'll just tell me, so then like I'm in the know. But then I'm like, I really don't want to spend 20 minutes listening to stuff that I have no idea about.
Yeah,
like they're like talking about people, and I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I tried watching Salt Lake, so I heard Salt Lake was crazy, interesting, but I'm just like, I just can't. I really hate reality TV.
I don't like it either.
I mean, the only ones I only watch like American Idol, and then that kind of went to crap. And like The Voice is like,
I don't like.
I like The Voice at the very beginning when they like turn their chairs around and all that. But I only have like watching like when my mom has it on at her house. So it's like it's not something like I pick to watch. But then again, I also will say like I really don't watch a lot anymore shows. I
liked America's Best Dance Crew and I like America's Got Talent for a while. I did watch Chris Lee Knows Best for a little bit.
Yes.
He was funny, but I also
it felt fake.
It felt fake. And then like I hate to say this, and gosh, this is gonna sound terrible, but I don't really care what people are really doing in their lives that much. Like there's a few people I guess I would care.
I just want a highlight reel on your Instagram.
Yeah, to be honest, like I was thinking like, okay, there are a few celebrities that I like. For example, Zendaya. Love Zendaya. When I watch a reality show with her, maybe a couple episodes, but I don't see myself being like a lifelong fan of something like that. You know,
I will
like
say I was like interested in like I didn't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but I always thought it was like interesting. Because I will say it
I
did
saw a
not
couple
feel
episodes,
like
yeah.
they were I will say like it didn't feel like they were fake
Yeah.
acting. Like a lot of times it feels like they were acting, and this is like just really like I don't know. It didn't feel fake, and I think that's why they've been so successful.
And I watch a little bit of Life of Kylie from the entrepreneur standpoint, but then it started to get into like drama stuff, and it's just not. I don't know. I don't care. Like, why should I care? I like you said, I like snippets. Like I remember, and I take back what I said about Zendaya and Tom not being cute. I've been seeing little
They're
snippets.
very cute.
They're so cute. I've been seeing snippets on Instagram, and I'm like, wow, they're cute. I wouldn't mind.
They're engaged. There's rumors that they're engaged.
That's too much. That's too much. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
So you haven't looked into all that?
I haven't looked into that. Oh my gosh.
Because someone spotted her with like a ring on her like ring finger.
That's so exciting. I don't know. Did you see the movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god.
I haven't seen the first two movies. Like, well, the thing is, it's not on Disney Plus because the stupid Sony and stupid Spider-Man. So I don't know where to watch them on streaming services.
Amazon Prime, maybe?
I have to pay for that.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it was fantastic. I won't do any spoilers. I might do spoilers in a couple weeks. I'll give people.
No. It's still too early to do spoilers.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'll give people
a couple weeks. I think it's still like
so?
you have to give it like a year or two.
A year or two, yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe I'll say pause and then start again. We're gonna have to discuss the movie. I will say this. I don't think it was okay. So my mom asked me, she was like, "Oh, how was the movie when we saw it?" I was like, I thought it was good. I don't think it was life-changing. Like everybody, like people actually, this is the most life-changing movie. I'm a different person after it. And then my brother was like, you certainly weren't crying like it wasn't life-changing. And I'll admit, it was a great movie. And there
Wait, did you cry?
I cried multiple times. And there was a time I was like ugly crying. So it's a really, really good movie. It is a really, really good movie. 10 out of 10. I'd recommend it.
Okay, so they're claiming that there's a recent deal between Disney and Sony that could bring the Spider-Man films to Disney Plus.
I hope so. I really want you to see this movie.
Well, okay,
you would like it. I think you would like it.
I want to see like that, and so like Spider-Man and Hulk. Like I watched all the Marvel movies, and neither Spider-Man nor Hulk, because they were done by like Sony pre-Marvel, were on Disney Plus.
You know what franchise I really like? It's very controversial. People are going to disagree with me. I like the X-Men franchise better than the Avengers franchise.
I need to watch because I know. See, I didn't realize they were the same franchise.
Yes, they're the same. Well, they're the same company. They're the same Marvel.
Well, yeah, but I didn't realize they were apparently like.
I think X-Men is Sony. I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Look that up real quick.
Business Insider is claiming Spider-Man is on Peacock, and I'm humble they are not.
Ooh, you should let them know. Sitting there lying.
I know, because I just looked. They're not on Peacock, buddy.
And also, too, I have to get this out. Speaking of Zendaya, I saw the first episode and a couple minutes of the second episode of Euphoria. Have you seen it?
I heard it's incredible.
Awful.
Really?
Oh, the music score is beautiful. The aesthetic is beautiful. The storyline is terrible. I am deathly afraid to send my kids to public school. Not only am I deathly afraid to send my kids to public school, I am like, I was at the nails. So I saw the episode and I went to the nail salon, and I was sitting next to a girl who was in high school, and she was on the phone, and she was like, yeah, my mom found my alcohol stash, and she didn't yell at me this time though because it was Christmas. And like when she was saying that, I was like, oh my God, where's her mother? I have to tell somebody. She's going to be in so much trouble. What?
The Spider-Mans are on Hulu. They're
all of them?
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Oh. Potentially. There's a lot of them.
But yeah, Euphoria is crazy show. 10 out of 10. Thanks. It's too much sex, I think, personally. A lot of nudity.
Well, I mean, it's rated R.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Well, it's rated R. Yeah, I mean, it's rated
I guess it
R.
makes sense.
It's a very intense because it's kind of
it's so
isn't
intense.
it like a story of like a high schooler like in a
drugs? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just I wasn't expecting. Everybody said it was so good, so I was like, well, let me see what this is about.
No, it's not Disney Zendaya.
Yeah, and first of all, she's an amazing actress. That's first thing.
She's very diverse. It's not Disney Zendaya.
Yeah, very diverse, but like and I mean the plots, like there was this it's awful. Like it's awful in the sense of like what it's showing, because the other problem that I have, and I was listening to someone, because I didn't finish it, but I didn't want to know what happened, so I listened to someone give a review. A problem that is with the show is it's about high schoolers, but they're doing all these things. So who's the target audience?
Yeah, that's what I think. Claudia has mentioned that on like the morning test. She's like, I have an issue reading and watching like high schoolers having sex. Because it's like when I was a high schooler, I didn't think anything about it, but it's like she's like, I'm almost 30 years old and I'm watching and like reading about these high schoolers having sex, and it's like, I'm like, this isn't appropriate.
Yeah. So then, okay, so if the target audience is young adults, like adults watching high schoolers have sex, that's weird. Yeah. Well, if the audience is high schoolers, should we be showing high schoolers having sex and having these drug issues to other high schoolers? You know, so it's like
that's interesting. Like, well, I don't think we should be showing high schoolers that at all. But I'm like, that's interesting. Like thinking about like, the target audience. Well, but it's like, okay, is it more geared towards parents showing them?
No, it's not.
You don't think?
No, get that idea out your head. This is pure unadulterated entertainment. This is what. No, it's nothing for parents.
Maybe it's just for like geared towards like young adults.
It's for young adults. They should have made this college students. Like, they have made them college students, which you could do a drug story about college students. Let me tell you. I can give you some stories.
Claudia made a comment. She's like, "There's a difference between like under 18 and over 18."
Yeah, I mean, even with Riverdale, I'm so glad they finally aged them up. Like, I started to feel weird with Riverdale, even though I wouldn't recommend that show to anybody. I'm going to finish it because I have an issue, but that's okay.
Well, is it like, I heard this season's like nuts.
This season is crazy.
Like, I don't understand why they went so like
it's
sci-fi.
Off the rails. It's they did an episode.
Okay, go ahead.
They did an episode this season with this Lala Reyna. Have you heard of her? Mm-mm. She's like, she takes children, and I'll tell y'all because nobody's watching it but me, so it's fine. I'll say here, spoilers if you listen to Riverdale, fast forward a little bit. Spoilers if you're still watching it, please let me know because I feel like I'm alone in this. So they did a Lala Reyna type thing. So actually, let me start. I'm sorry. They did a Midsommar. You guys have seen that, right? Midsommar. Have you seen that, Vic?
Mm-hmm.
They did a Midsommar like spoof. And they ended up killing Archie. That was the first episode of the first season. Second episode, I believe it was the second episode, they did a Lala Reyna type thing. And Tony had a baby. And she accidentally killed somebody when, they're in the gangs and the gangs are fighting. Even though they're young adults now. The gangs are fighting. She accidentally killed somebody. So the person who she killed, their mother, called on the spirit of Lala Reyna. And then Tony switched because she needed someone to watch because she didn't want her baby to die. So Tony was out. Sabrina the witch came. It turns out that Cheryl is actually a reincarnated lady who was cursed because she fell in love with a woman back in the day. So then Cheryl goes into her grandmother's body, and her grandmother comes out and goes into Cheryl's body, so that the grandmother that's actually in Cheryl's body can be with the old reincarnated version of Tony. And then the devil comes and makes a deal and kills Reggie. And then, remember how first season Reggie was the guy from 13 Reasons Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, somehow the timelines like came, and that guy comes back and is like, yo, who is this guy? Ronnie, why are you with this guy? So that was kind of funny about the timeline. So both of the Reggies were in there. It was, and then turns out Archie didn't want the timeline to get messed up because he wanted his father to come back, which is actually kind of sad because, you know, he's dead in real life.
Yeah.
So Archie is like a serial killer. And then the only way to get the timelines to go back and to be better is if Jughead sits and writes for the rest of his life.
So, but I don't understand why they're going down this route. Like, what is like, because it's like, okay, like they're like only showing like different timelines, right? It's like all like every episode's like a different timeline essentially.
Well,
because I saw like a summary of like the one where like Jughead's like the timeline where like Jughead's dead or something.
Yeah, so Jughead does find himself dead, but there's multiple Jughead. Our Jughead is in that timeline to help fix it, but the Jughead of that timeline is dead but comes back to life because things don't stay dead in that timeline.
I'm just so confused with like the point of this. Like I liked it when it was like I liked it when it was like a murder mystery, like the first season.
The first season,
but then it's like I'm like, why do we need this sci-fi magic crap? No. That's Vampire Diaries. Like,
and I like sci-fi magic, but like I don't even like it in the show. It doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because it's like, okay, explain to me how you can start and have like 1 to 2 seasons that has nothing to do with magic, and it's just like a murder mystery, and then magic all of a sudden happens.
It makes no sense.
I'm like, okay, like Teen Wolf was kind of like that. It was like it went like crazy weird magic.
What? Why was it not magic from the beginning? How are you gonna be a wolf?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like even they took it too far, but it's like the kid turns into a wolf. Of course, it's magical. Vampire Diaries. That was magic from the first episode. You knew it was like coming, and so it just like doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean Riverdale has like, and I mean they brought in the devil. Like, what? Why were they making deals with the devil? Like it all is just like, and then they killed Archie the very first episode. So that's when I was like, okay, and they killed Archie, not because he's a virgin, but because he's the most pure out of all of them, though, something like that. And I was like, your face. And I was just like, wait, this doesn't, they just killed the who the show's about. Like, Archie, it was so weird, but they're at the mid-season break now, so I think it's gonna, like, the timeline's been fixed, so I think we're gonna go back to Riverdale, because before we were in Rivervale. That was the other timeline. It's so, I mean, it makes no sense. But yeah, I'm glad they back to aging up. I think it's more appropriate now, like some of their shenanigans, because it was getting a little bit, it was feeling weird. I'm like, okay, these kids are like 17 and they just had a sex scene. I'm uncomfortable.
Well, so why are they doing that now? High schooler on like a strip pole or something, like stripping?
Oh my god, yes, that's what okay, that's how what's her name, Betty joined the gang. She did a striptease to Mad World, which is, I love that song, but now I feel weird listening to it because I just think about Betty like stripping. And then Veronica owned a speakeasy at like 17 and sold alcohol, and it's just like, this just, all of these shows would be better if they aged them up. So I am wondering, like, not to put my tinfoil hat on, why are they doing that? Because like when we were younger, I mean, iCarly was 17. iCarly was, I mean, iCarly was out there doing little silly stuff, and now, you know, they have girls like, oh gosh, it's this, and Hannah Montana, perfect example, because she even went to college. Like, she's younger than Archie in them, or she's older than Archie in them, and she wasn't doing all that stuff. So I wonder, like, what happen? And then I wonder if it has something to do with, because kids these days, especially girls, are looking way too much older. Like they're looking like,
I look younger than a lot of these like middle schoolers.
yeah, same. And I wonder if that's because they're watching things about high schoolers,
Yeah.
so they're trying to be like high schoolers.
Like,
but
I'm watching like I haven't watched the new episodes, but like I started watching like the Gossip Girl remake.
Yeah, how is that?
And it's
spoilers,
like,
everybody, go ahead. I'm never gonna watch it, I don't think.
It's too intense in my opinion. Like it's like too like okay, Gossip Girl the OG was like PG because it had to be on TV.
Yeah.
This is like PG-13R a lot of times. Like they're
There's
having like they're having high schoolers doing like a threesome and like
my kids will never go to public school. Go
ahead. Like a boy hooking up with like a male teacher and like having an affair with a male teacher.
Okay, pause for 1 second. Also, too, isn't it kind of suspicious all of these shows now have a teacher and a student? I think that's like, think about all of the shows.
Pretty Little Liars started that.
Yeah, Riverdale, the first season, the best season. About that. Yeah, had a teacher. I'm pretty sure there's a teacher thing with you. Well, I'll go ahead and spoil you for it because you shouldn't be watching it anyway. One of the girls is actually transgender, and she is hooking up with one of the dads of one of the kids in her high school. Yeah. So like, what is this? This is weird. Like, I've never had a crush on a teacher before. I know that's probably like unusual, but like I've never been attracted to any of my teachers. I think I've just never had attractive teachers.
Never had a good, yeah.
So I just been old. Mine have always either been old or just not attractive. So like this new thing of like having the teachers on the shows, like that's weird. And I'm really concerned, like who is a target market? Like, yeah. Keep going.
Like the gossip, so like I don't, and the first Gossip Girl touched on this a little bit, but like this one's like a lot worse. Like they're going out like clubbing on a school night and drinking alcohol and like doing drugs, and I'm like, you guys are 15. Yeah. Like it's just, I don't know, like, and then like one of like
is that girls... how public school is? Is that what you guys do? No. I'm like half joking. I'm half
but they're going to like an esteemed like private school because it's like the Upper East Side. But like one of the girls is like an influence, like she's 16, she's an influencer and model at like 16, and it's like,
I mean, like, that I kind of get,
but she's like walking like big runways, and like they're not wearing like, it's a very like skimpy clothes, and like, oh, the other one, okay, so like, did you ever watch Never Have I Ever?
No, that looks so stupid though.
Well, is it cute, it's not like weird, but like the kid, like the love interest, the guy looks like he's 30 and he's supposed to be 18. That one was like a bad, like, don't get me wrong, like he's good, but I'm looking at him and
they should have picked something younger.
Well, but I'm like, the girl, he's supposed to be like, she's supposed to be kind of like a freshman, but I mean, granted, she was like 17 when they shot the first season, but it's just like, oof, like, yeah, you like, I don't know, it looked like a 25, 30-year-old with like a 16-year-old.
And that's just not a good look. And I'm just curious, tinfoil hat on again, like what, like this is just weird. Like,
oh, and once again, like anytime, like, I mean, I know like they age down a lot, but like, why are these high school boys all like jacked and like muscular? Like, come on, they can't do that.
Perfect example is Archie. And why was Archie's shirt off for half every episode, especially at the beginning? Archie's shirt was off for half of every episode. Why was he a professional boxer? I was watching this and they were like, Archie has been a boxer, a firefighter, a police officer, a sheriff. He's wrestled a bear. Like, what is this? And he's just in high school. What? And I think that it gives kids unrealistic expectation, that gives them things to be that they shouldn't be. And then my thing is like, they're watching, is this for them though? Like, I feel like it's for us, but we're not watching
if it's on the CW, I feel like this is geared more towards like teens, young adults, but like they've even gone like crazy weird.
So like, I saw an article today the CW has not made money since 2006.
No way.
They make their money from selling their shows like that. Like, but the CW does not, like, people are not watching. Not since 2006, which is crazy. But that makes sense.
I stopped like 3-4 years ago. I hated their app. So I will say,
Yeah,
I think this is
that.
where CW went wrong. Okay. So I stopped pretty much watching the CW when they took their shows off Hulu. So their shows weren't coming out the next day on Hulu.
Yeah.
That's because they're trying to get people to come to their app.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was a while ago. That was like, yeah, I was still in college when that stopped. And so
I feel like I finished. I was watching. Oh no, that's never. That's Freeform. I used to watch that other show that's for our age. That was a spinoff of Fosters. Did you ever watch the Fosters?
I tried. I just never got into it. So like, I don't know. But I will say, like, the only show I'm watching, it's Superman and Lois, because I think I love that show. It's a lot better. It's a lot more wholesome, I feel, than a lot of the CW shows. And it's like really interesting take on like Superman. It's like him as like a father of like 2 teenage boys.
Okay, I'll have to see it. I think I'll add that to the things I watch with my dad.
And plus the guy who plays Superman's so hot. And like, okay, I think so. But I will say too, like, when the stuff happened with like Arrow, and like, I don't know, I loved Arrow, but it just became, it was too long. But then I'm also kind of like, how do they still have, okay, this is where I think CW went wrong. They added way too many superhero shows, and like you had to kind of like watch them all because they interconnected.
Because they had
that's where, because it was like, okay, loved Arrow, loved The Flash. Supergirl was okay. It was corny. But then when they added Black Lightning and DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, too
many it was too many crossovers.
And I'm like, I don't have crossover thing. I don't like that.
And I'm like, I don't have time to watch all these. Yes, it's cool to do the crossovers. But like I would say too, is like I hated the crossovers because like, okay, if you're watching it on Netflix and like streaming, you have to go back and figure out, okay, what season is the next episode of this crossover?
Yep. I remember that.
Superman and Lois, and they are, because I think it's supposed to be in the future, so they didn't do a crossover episode.
Good.
And I really hope they don't do it this year. Like they were definitely on like the earlier, like they've done guest star roles, but not like a crossover.
Good. The Flash. I'm also one of the last people watching The Flash. When I tell you that show has gone off the rails, I mean, I wonder like what happened. Like the writing. The writing is just awful.
Well, I thought they were supposed to be following the comics, and maybe I don't know if they're
not following them. Yeah, they're not following the comics.
Yeah,
occasionally they'll have a person.
I've been trying, so I stopped at this season when the daughter came back. So
you stuck it out longer than most.
Yeah,
I
just hate the CW app. And so I just hated that app. It would never work. It just sucked on my Fire TV. So I just stopped watching. It's like, all right, well, I'll just wait till they get on Netflix, and then just never got to it.
Yeah. My brother and I were talking about The Flash. The first 2 seasons were so good. Really good. And what it was, I think, is because he was pining after Iris, and that gave him such a good motivation.
I like him and Iris together, and like I think it's really cute, but it's also like, okay, when you start like losing your main characters, like Cisco left, and
other people, the guy who plays Wells, and then the guy who played Ralph was honestly the best comedy relief. He said something I loved him some years ago, so cancel culture. So now they have this new guy who is not funny at all. He's super annoying. He's so weird. I will say this though. So I like Iris and Barry together, but my problem is just so like the season before last, they had this like plot line where their iris is Barry's lightning bolt. So something I forgot what happened. Something happened, an explosion happened, something. So then Barry and Iris together created different forces. So they're like their children. And it's just, I don't know, it's just corny. Like it's just like that's
I'll say what stopped me on Arrow was when they added like all these extra random people to like the team. They added like the 3 people that were supposed to like replace like the Black Canary and like some others, and it's just like, this is just too much. Like I like the OG team when it's just like Felicity, Oliver, and Diggs. Why are we adding all these extra people? Like I don't want their storyline.
Why do they have teams? That's also kind of weird too. Like,
oh, and then like the Flash's team's just gotten way too big too.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Supergirl, I didn't. Well, I like Cecile.
I did not like Supergirl.
Supergirl was cheesy, but then like I really stopped watching it when like her love interest left. I'm like, this sucks.
My problem with Supergirl, and I'm pro woman. I love girls. I think we're amazing. They tried so hard to cater it to girls that it lost its like superhero-ness to me. Like it just it was too like I don't know. It was too girly.
Yeah.
And I love girly, like, but I don't know, just something wasn't. You can tell it was catered. Bless me. You can tell it was catered for girls. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I liked Black Lightning.
I need to try that. I haven't watched it.
Storyline, but it was just like. So the thing with Black Lightning, so like, okay, Flash and Arrow, they're in the same universe, like they're in the same like Earth. Yeah. Black Lightning was a different Earth. Supergirl was another Earth. Like that, like.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like Earths. I didn't like that either. I mean, I know it was part of the comic book, but it's just so confusing.
Well, I think they took some liberty with that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they took some liberty with that because Supergirl is from the same Earth as the Flash. I know that for a fact because they were in Justice League Unlimited together, like the full Justice League together.
Yeah, so they were
on the same Earth in the comic. Now, there are different renditions, so there could be a universe where there are different Earths, and that just sounds crazy. But from like canonically at the beginning, they're definitely in the same Earth. I have no idea why they decided to do different Earths, and which I mean, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Well, we've been babbling.
I was gonna say we need to get to the topics. Okay, so I did want to mention this really quick. So we are both doing reading the Bible in a year. You're doing that, right? Reading the Bible in a year. Okay. Yeah. So which one are you using? Are you using
I'm using the Bible app, which is like the iPhone app, and they always have like really good plans. So I'm doing Bible in 1 year 2022 with Nikki Gumbel. One thing like I really like about this app is that it does like a devotional and kind of like breaks down the reading and explains like kind of like tying all the readings together. Ooh. And that's like one thing like I really like about this.
Okay. So if you're listening and you're looking for one, that is an option. Mm-hmm. I am doing the Bible recap, which is a podcast as well. So they'll go over, give you the reading for the day, and then there'll be a podcast to kind of like explain everything. And it's actually chronological order, which I didn't know that at first.
Oh, mine's
but I'm like,
not.
Yeah,
so mine's kind of like, and they make sure. So it's like Genesis, Psalms, and
a lot. Okay,
and
a lot
Matthew.
Of them do that.
And it's like roughly like a chapter each, but then like they kind of like tie it all together and find like a common theme in each of like the story, or each not the story, but like each of the chapters. So it's like really interesting how they're doing that. And I was trying to remember. I like lost my train of thought. One I really was found interesting, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say mine's in chronological order. I've never read the Bible chronologically, and I didn't realize, for example, like Job happened before Abraham. So it goes Adam and Eve, Noah, and then now we're reading Job, and then next one we read Abraham. So that's kind of cool.
Job for Abraham?
Yeah, Job is before Abraham.
But okay.
Well, it's not in the Bible, not in the Bible. Like Abraham is in Genesis, but like what
yeah, but Job has his own chapter.
Right. So what happened with Job happened before Abraham happened, which is kind of cool. I liked that. And I really liked this will lead us into like our segue really quick to our fun topic. I asked you guys if you wanted us to talk a little bit about the Garden of Eden, about like, oh, where could it be, blah blah blah, or talk about the thing that I saw. And I had people mention this to me before, and I find it so fascinating, but you guys didn't want to talk about that, so we won't talk about it. But how in Genesis 1 it says God created male and female, and then in Genesis 2 it says God created Eve from Adam. And if we wanted to like discuss that, but you guys want to talk about the Garden of Eden, so that's what we'll talk about. So in reading the first day, I believe, probably the first day, because Garden of Eden isn't until chapter 3. Yeah, so I guess the first day reading about the Garden of Eden, I was thinking like, do you think that the cherubim is still there, guarding the Garden of Eden?
I don't know. See, like I'm very torn about this because I feel like in this day and age, like we would have already found it, you know? Like, I don't know, like in a saddle, like, because it's like how it's described it, and I think people like believe it's like the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, correct, in the Middle East. That's where they think it is.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like to me, I've always interpreted it as like, okay, that's like God brought the Garden of Eden to be on like a little piece of heaven on earth, but then he kicked them out. I don't know, like he kicked them out and like took it back, like his garden back to heaven. Like I've always thought it was like a little bit of like
never thought
heaven.
Of it like that.
Yeah, I've kind of always thought it's like, okay, like they're in heaven, a little bit of heaven.
Okay. Oh, that's a good thing. I haven't thought of that.
Really?
I never thought he would take it back.
Or not even take it back. Like I always thought, like I don't think it is, because I feel like we were already have found it in this day and age, especially with like theologians and people like researching. Do know,
I mean, there's still like, for example, that island of people that has never been looked at because they won't let people on there. I'm not saying it's there.
Like, yes and no, but it's like, okay, like, but like looking for like satellites. Like we have like satellite maps of the earth, and you're telling me like we would not like be like,
see a big luscious area
and be like, like look how those rivers are coming together. Isn't that what the Bible says, how the rivers are
there?
You know, okay. Like that's kind of how it's like, okay, like I feel that's what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, like it was like a little piece of heaven that God brought to the earth and was like, nope, you guys are gonna have to earn your way into this again, which is heaven.
Okay. That's a good one. I think I just always assumed somehow we were hidden. It's hidden, like
kind of like the blindness of like them being naked blindness.
Yeah, like we could, hypothetically speaking, because you know in Mormonism they think it's in Missouri, so we could be walking. We could be walking through it. No, Missouri.
Mormons definitely not Utah. In Utah.
Yeah, but they don't think the Garden of Eden was in Utah though.
Okay. Well, it kind of reminds me. So I watched like the beginning of Shang-Chi, or is that how you say it?
Oh yes,
it kind of reminds me of movie. That.
Oh,
a little bit. What you're saying, it's kind of like it doesn't let anyone in.
Yes,
and, like
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't finish it because I had an early flight the next morning, but that's on my list to watch. I want to watch Encanto. Have you seen that on Disney?
No, but I hear that's really good.
Okay, oh my god. So the main character, it's the woman from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Sorry, really quick. The prophet first visited Jackson County, Missouri. That's where they think the Garden of Eden is. Jackson County, Missouri. All right, go ahead. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, it's not the one.
Rosa.
Rosa. Like, so the main character in Kanto is Rosa, and it's like, it's not like, I just can't get over her voice. Like, it's so different.
Yeah, that's.
You ever heard her like normal voice?
Yeah, she actually was on BoJack Horseman. She plays a very important character on BoJack Horseman toward the last season.
Yeah, I just can't get over, like,
it's so distinct.
She's such a weird voice.
I think it would bother me because I would know it was her.
Oh, like, I didn't know it was her,
so
and
distinct.
then like I saw like her do an interview with like Lin-Manuel Miranda, who did like Hamilton, who also did Encanto.
In the Heights.
In the Heights, and she was in the Heights too, and I'm like, oh my god,
she was in the Heights.
She was in the Heights. I tried watching that. I just could not get into the storyline.
Yeah,
which really bothered me because I loved Hamilton.
I still haven't seen Hamilton.
It's on Disney Plus. Don't y'all have Disney Plus?
We do. We're using one of my brother's friends', but we do have it.
Yeah.
I should see it, I guess. Culturally.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, if you like musicals.
I do and I don't. Like, I do. Like, The Sound of Music. Oh my goodness, I can watch that. Mary Poppins, I can watch that. Cinderella. Oh gosh, I kind of want to watch that now. I can watch that. Disney, I can watch that, but I don't know. I guess the new ones I don't really like as much.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the Garden of Eden. So yeah, I just kind of see it as like it's there, but we just can't find it. I saw so in doing my research on just trying to see like, oh, what are some fun theories? I saw somewhere. Let me see if I can read it perfectly. But it was like someone said, what if it was like in the hollow earth? You know, the hollow earth theory, stuff like that. They were like, what if it's like somehow God moved, kind of like what you were saying, God moved it, but instead of moving it up, it moves it like in the center of the
heaven.
earth.
Like, I think it's just like, okay, like that's how he made like heaven.
So you think the Garden of Eden is just like, it was like a piece of heaven, he kind of broke it off, put it on earth, and then we just
like he
Adam
like
ruined it.
Originally was gonna make like earth heaven, like a part of heaven, you know, and then it's like, nope, you guys messed up. But yeah, we need to get into our stories. We're going so long.
Let's get into the story. Sorry, y'all. This will be a long one, but we haven't seen each other in a long time. It was good to catch up.
Yes, let's catch up. All right. First story. I think we have 3. And this is kind of like a sci-fi focused story lines.
Yeah, this is like I thought it'd be fun to do just some like lighter, silly is probably not the right word, but lighter episodes. Lighter stories. Go ahead.
So this story is like really freaked Sebastian out. It's so funny. He's
really, it freaked him out.
Well, he's like,
that's hilarious.
Okay, so the story's like NASA has hired a priest to prepare humans for aliens, and he's like, oh my god, there's aliens. Like,
did he not believe before?
Well, he's like, think about it. Like, we lock our doors. Like, people have like guns to protect themselves. Like, what do you do if an alien just beams himself into your house? Like, there's no way to protect yourself.
That's hilarious. It's funny. He thinks we would need, or like they wouldn't just kill us automatically.
Well,
Continue.
That's what he's saying. Is like, how do we protect ourselves against?
We don't.
They like have all this technology. Like, they could just beam themselves in.
That is hilarious.
So NASA has hired a priest to prepare humans for alien encounters. According to a report in the Mirror, Reverend Dr. Andrew Davison, a British priest and theologist, said the prospect for finding life on another planet is becoming ever more real. The Reverend, who is a theologian at Cambridge University and has a degree in biochemistry, has been working with NASA. He's also set to release his book next year. He was one of the 24 religious why are you clicking through? This is distracting me.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were I'm trying to read it.
Okay, so we're on the
Sorry.
same Google Doc. Mal's going up and down, like clicking literally like the up arrow line by line. And I'm like watching him move up and down as I'm trying to really read this.
I was trying to follow along. And anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, he's also set to release his book next year. He's one of the 24 religious experts who took part in the NASA-sponsored program at the Center for Theological Inquiry at Princeton University, New Jersey, to assess how religions would react to news that life exists on a world beyond our own, the report said. According to Technotrends, NASA is enlisting the help of 24 theologians as part of a plan to determine how different religions around the world would react to news of extraterrestrial life. Consider the implications of applying the tools of 20th and early 21st century science to questions that have been considered in religious traditions for hundreds or thousands of years, said Carl Pilcher, former head of NASA's Astrobiology Institute. I really freaked Sebastian out too. I go, what if our dogs are aliens? He goes, that's not funny. Like, what if Phoebe is an alien?
I think it's hilarious that it freaked him out. I think that
what do we do?
you do nothing. Like, the reality is, first, okay, so there's two, so if we want to reconcile this with our Christianity, I believe there's like two quote unquote theories. There's like the theory that some of this alien encounter type thing people are having are actually demons, which I do think there is some demonic elements.
Like the Demi Lovato crap.
Yeah, like the Demi Lovato, like Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's this documentary on Netflix. At the beginning, it's like, oh, this is a really interesting alien documentary. Love things with aliens. Well, toward the end, they start talking about people are taking drugs to connect with these beings, right? So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Well, let me tell you the kicker. This guy had something wrong with his ear for, I think it was like his whole life. And he said he had been praying to God to heal his ear. He talked to his being, the being healed his ear. And he said, why would I need to talk to God if I have this being or something like that? And I was like, oh, okay. So that was demonic. Like, to turn you away from God, that's demonic. So like, I do believe that, but I am kind of curious, like, are there beings in other planets? I remember I had a youth teacher or whatever tell us one time, he was like, all we know is the Bible was written for us. We don't know if God has like another Bible for other people in the universe. Like, we don't know that. Yeah, we don't know that. Like,
what if he does? Like, every like planet has their own Bible and like stories. Like, God's like, all right, guys, like it's like, I have a secret family.
Yes, that's so funny. It will be like, I have a secret family, and then everybody's like trying to find out. So like, we don't know. So I love this. Also too, like, I think that the fact that they're trying to get the religious aspect in it just shows how serious they're taking the idea that there's something else. In this podcast called Cultish, I highly recommend everybody listen to it. I'll link in the show or in our like blog post about it, the episode. But they had this for, I think he was like a scientist or something. He was, or a scientist that was he was a pastor and also a scientist, but currently he's a pastor. He said he had some people in his church that are in high levels of the government that were being told to take these drugs because they're trying to talk to these people in another dimension or something like that. And they were trying to figure out, like, as Christians, like, should we be taking these drugs? Should we be trying to contact other people? Oh, we should have Marsha talk about this, maybe. I don't know if this is her specialty, because she's more of like, I was going to say Australia. She's more of astrology. I don't know if she would know a lot about, like, the alien aspect. But that's so fascinating. I think the fact that they're trying to get religious leaders shows that they think it's a legit something. They think it's something to be concerned about. And clearly, I mean, they're concerning other people. They're causing a tizzy amongst the peeps. So what would be your first thing that you would do if you're driving in the car? Well, but do you listen to the radio?
Listen to
No.
podcasts.
Bad example.
Okay.
You're at home. Wait, listen. You and Sebastian are at home. You're watching World News Tonight at 6:30 with your TV dinners, and you're sitting enjoying your meal. And all of a sudden, breaking news, you find out that a UFO has crashed, and this alien being who looks not how we thought that they would look, almost like us, but you can tell uncanny valley for those of you that write. It's an uncanny valley effect. They come out and they're like, and they speak everybody. So like we in the US hear English, and I would say Australia, in Mexico they hear Spanish. So like everybody can hear it in their native language, and they start speaking. What is your first thing you do?
I mean, are they nice aliens? I don't know.
We don't know. You don't know yet. You don't know yet.
I would imagine there'd be like high panic. Like I'd probably go to like my parents' house. Like we'd be like, all right, we're going to my parents' house because they're gonna know what to do. We don't know what to do.
I don't know what I would do. I think so. As someone who loves this stuff, I think I'd be really excited. I'd be like, "Whoa, this is it! Like, we're here. Where's Doctor Who? Is he gonna save us?" I think that would be my next thought. Doctor Who, you want to come help us here?
I
We're
don't
about
know.
to be
I
killed.
feel like if an alien ever does that, I feel like the government would just like start them up so quickly we'd have no idea.
See, I think that too, unless they're not prepared.
Yeah.
I think that if, for example, like Roswell, they fix that up real quick. All we have are little anecdotes that some of us believe, some of us don't.
Isn't
But
Roswell where they did the testing for the nuclear bomb for World War II? That's the whole deal about that being weird.
that's what they tell you. That's what they're telling us.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's Victor. I don't work in the government. One thing I know is you can't trust them.
Do work in the government.
Well, that is true. I do work in the government, but I don't work in that. That's not my department.
I don't work in the government.
That, you know what, I do work in the government. I do, but that's not my department.
I don't work for NASA.
I don't work for NASA. I don't know. All I know is they're not going to tell us. And I'll be honest, the level of government I'm in, I would not be the first to know. I would not be on a spaceship out of here if they. Have you seen Don't Look Up?
Not
Okay.
yet.
Well,
Here's
anyway,
really good.
It's. I'll say this. It's a huge metaphor that is like in your face, like this is what it is, and then at the end it's like, you stupid Trump supporter, you idiot, you dummy. That's how I felt. But
I will say they're like, why the hell is Meryl Streep in this?
Yeah, and my brother was like, a couple days ago I had made the comment, Leonardo DiCaprio's never been in any bad movie, and then my brother and I watched that and he was like, now he has. And it's really not that bad.
I hear the premise is interesting.
Yeah. I at the end, I will say this. I texted Chris because I was like, well, never mind, because then I'm gonna tell you like
what happened.
Anyway, I don't want to say what happened, but I in my head I'm pictured like if the aliens come, like, oh no, I'm saying with the government. So like they're not gonna, whatever happened in Roswell's not, they're not gonna tell us. But if the alien did come down and they didn't have enough time to like hide it, I think it's quite possible that they could do that, kind of like The Day the Earth Stood Still, or like that Twilight Zone episode with it's called To Serve Man. I think like it could be something similar to that. But one of the questions in a documentary I was watching, and I guess it's a documentary. When I say documentary, I think of something of it being absolutely confirmed being real, but I guess aliens are not absolutely confirmed. But in this program I was watching, they made a good point. Like, a lot of movies show that aliens, when they come down, they're angry, they don't like us, they want to hurt us. But how do we know that they want to hurt us and they don't want to help us? But in my head, I'm also kind of like, I feel like they, like, I I wouldn't trust them to help us. Like, I think it's safer to just say they don't want to help us than to like be like, yeah, come on in, alien. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's not alien to us: entrepreneurship. And this is the segue for our mid-roll ad. Not really mid-roll ad. This is basically the end of the episode. We'll do like one. You can pick which one you want to do next, and then we should wrap it up. But our sponsor, our lovely sponsor, is LITL Co. Living in the Light Co. It is an apparel company that is custom designed by our friend Brooke, who just had a adorable baby boy. And you should go to her page. She has a cute little video where her daughter is singing to the boy, and then at the end she goes, "Hallelujah!" And it's so cute. When you order from her, you're going to be helping like families like that. All of the bows and scrunchies are wholesaled through other families just like that. Small businesses, and they're all USA made. Their goal is to wholesale through more and more small businesses so that the customers know where their items are sourced. And their priority is to ensure LIT Co. is 100% spiritually based and run. So you should visit www.litlco.com, use the code THOSEGIRLS, and get 10% off of your purchase. Vic, let's wrap it up with one last fun sci-fi.
All right. Well, we can kind of touch on both of these. So, first off, a dinosaur embryo has been found inside a fossilized egg. A well-preserved dinosaur embryo has been found inside a fossilized egg. The fossilized dinosaur embryo came from Ganzhou, Jingxi province in southern China and was acquired by researchers in 2000. Researchers at Yingling Group. I'm so sorry, I don't know Chinese. Researchers at Yingliang Group, a company that mines stone, suspected it contained egg fossils, but put it in storage for 10 years, according to a news release. When construction began at Yingliang Stone Natural History Museum, boxes of unearthed fossils were sorted there. Museum staff identified them as dinosaur eggs and saw some bones on the broken cross-section of one of the eggs. Lida Ying of China University of Geosciences, Beijing, said in a news release. An embryo is found hidden within which they named baby Yingling. The embryo is that of a bird-like, Oviraptorosaurus, part of the theropod group. Theropod means beast foot, but theropod feet usually resemble those of birds. Birds are descended from one lineage of small theropods. All right, the other
so that's where the people say that birds are dinosaurs. That's where it came from. Okay, go ahead.
And then a new bioscience company just raised $15 million to revive woolly mammoths.
Terrifying.
All right. My thing is, have people not seen Jurassic Park?
I mean, I shared this on Facebook. I said, kill it. Why are we even playing around with this? What is the purpose? Kill it. Destroy it.
Jurassic Park. I'm like, God.
We're so stupid.
Like, okay, so we're worried about aliens, but then like we're stupid humans are like, let's conduct dinosaurs and things that can kill us, or we're not the main predator.
Like, I shared it and I was like, yeah. But one of my friends, who's a sciencey person, I guess, she was like, this is a great scientific discovery. And I was like,
well, yes, but we're not going to like
kill it, destroy it. What is the part? Why would we need it to be alive? What was the purpose? Like, in the mammoth thing, and then later in the article, I'll link it like I usually do, you guys. It says they're doing it for climate change. Like, what? I would love to.
What, are we trying to get it cold again? Like, all right, we're heating up the earth. You know, instead of looking at what's actually heating up the earth, like fossil fuels, we're going to bring a woolly mammoth back and pray that they change the earth to be colder.
And then also too, $15 million, just raise $15 million. We could use the $15 million to help with the podcast. I mean,
did we GoFundMe this? Did we GoFundMe this?
Like, all the people that donated to this to revive a woolly mammoth, we could have used your money.
Can you imagine? It's like, yes, we're at this gala to donate to this company that's looking at researching for cancer. And then it's like next day, psych, we're bringing back a woolly mammoth.
I just can't even, like, I don't understand. So the embryo, for example, of the dinosaur, I don't understand what would be the purpose of keeping that. Like, I legitimately, like, and I guess I'm just not like, I like history, but I don't think I like history like a normal person, maybe, because I think it's cool to read, but I just don't understand, like, why you would care about, like, bringing the dinosaur back. And I maybe might do more research to figure out, like, how is a woolly mammoth going to cure climate change, because that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I don't understand what woolly mammoths are, but in Ice Age they just look like big elephants, and I don't. I would really like to know why would a woolly why and how is a woolly mammoth going to cure climate change? And then saying that is going to modify elephant DNA and create a hybrid. I mean, we've already seen what hybrids do. They're not, and I'm not going to say the name of the dog, but this type of dog that's not even supposed to be alive. It's bred, like, it's just, we already know what breeding does. So now we're trying to do it with prehistoric animals. Also, too, I just thought of this. Is it cold enough for a woolly mammoth?
Maybe that's the whole concept, is like, okay, the last time we got crazy cold, it was because we had woolly mammoths on the earth, so we're just gonna bring them right back.
But, like, how does that stop climate change? And in the article it goes, it sounds something like science fiction, if not horror. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. But yeah, you guys, we're living in some strange times. Some strange times. What a time to be alive. You and yours versus me and mine. Do you have anything else you want to say about this?
I'm just reminding people that, have you watched Jurassic Park?
I will say I've never seen that movie and I really want to.
Well, neither have I, but I know the concept.
Fair. And I mean, I've seen the commercials for Jurassic World. So okay, you guys. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We did a lot of chit-chatting at the beginning, but I think it was cool to catch up. Tell us where you think the Garden of Eden is. What do you think happened to it? I know that when I shared, some people said that it was destroyed in the flood, which I think is also a very quite possible idea. What?
Sorry, I got like okay. I got it.
Something else.
I got something.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, well, I run a social media account for a restaurant, and they're like, hey, where did this extra entree come from on our chef's menu? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I like look, and I'm like, where did that come from? And then I realized there was 3 and there's only 2. Okay, I know what I did wrong. I was like trying to figure out where it came from. I was like,
But yeah, so
I
forgot what I was saying. Oh, tell us where you think the Garden of Eden is, what happened to it. We'll do that as our Spotify question. If you are enjoying this podcast, please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. I will be at the North Carolina March for Life, for sure. Vic up in the air. I will definitely be at the National March for Life, and if you're going by yourself, please reach out. We'll go together. We could go as a group. Melanie will be there, and a few other people who've been on the podcast will be there as well. And also too, I'll be at the National Summit the next day. Excited for that. Excited for Students for Life. Love that group. We also have cute merch in the store, so check out, buy that. That helps a lot. But what helps us more than anything, though, is you sharing the podcast. The only way we're going to have other girls join us to be other girls, is if you share it. So if you could please share it. Also, to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. So the way Apple does their algorithm, I watched a video on this. We actually don't know, but we do know when you leave more reviews, it'll push it up. We do know that for sure. So if you could just leave a review, that would be very beneficial for us. to get more people, because the idea is we want this to be a big family. We want everyone to feel listened to. We want everyone to feel as if they're a part of this. Hopefully I will see everyone listening at the March for Life. If not, hopefully I'll see you someplace else. Anything else I should add, Vic?
I don't think so. That's a lot of housekeeping.
Yeah, that was a lot of housekeeping today. All right, you guys. Thanks everybody so much for listening, and see, hear, listen, talk to you later.
Bye, guys.